sang boy Rachel ส่วนเตมาเป็นกูอินกวนหาที่งาลายเสียมหันบ่ามาว่านุ่งwhere did we go to which shopping center was that Chatstone shopping center อีปายานาลายบุซิมเป็นมากันเลยบ่ what's the book you read at the Chatstone shopping
I don't remember reading.
You don't remember ลายบุอีก็เลยเลย shopping ฮะอินกะเจียมาว่ามันซิมหินมันมั้ Now what are you reading at the moment Samuel
So right now I'm reading the book called The Tinker's Daughter.
Oh Tinker's Daughter what is it about
So it's about this girl Mary Bunyan, the daughter of John Bunyan. And so she's like a blind girl whose mom died, and so her dad got remarried to a 17-year-old lady called Elizabeth. And Elizabeth is already pregnant, but then when her mom is pregnant, her dad goes to jail for not having his license for preaching.
Oh really
So mostly
so you
he's
need a
in jail.
license to
Yeah, during their times. Dumb, but so they all get really sad, and then so she has other siblings as well, and I forgot what her sister's name was,
you
but
can have a look
yeah, okay. Just gonna. Bet is her sister's name, and her brother is Jake. I think there's more, but that's all it mentions. So one night, Mary wakes up having a feeling that something is wrong with her mom, well, stepmom. So she goes to her mom, and her mom is like really stressful, I think, and she says that something's wrong with her baby, that it's not time for it to come, but she thinks that it's coming out now. And then so she asks her, even though she's blind, to go to this to the midwife, midwife Dunkirk, I think. And so Mary says yes. But it's like all really dark. So exactly when she's outside, she immediately gets scared. So she goes back in and pretends she's just trying to get something to her stepmom. And then when she goes back out, pretty sure she says this Bible verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Is that Philippians
Yeah. But she forgets the last part, so she always just says, I can do all things. And then she finally found it there. She finally got there, and then they went back to her home to check on Elizabeth. And so she says that later, the midwife said the baby died. And yeah. And then later, there's like later the next morning, Mary and her brother goes out in town for some reason. I forgot why, but yeah, they went into town, and then Jake is meant to be her eyes, so she has to follow him around. And then pretty sure he just leaves her because he got carried away seeing that there was like
that's not good
a teddy bear thing so he just follows it and then so forgot to say that there's this really rude guy named Jeffrey,
Okay.
and he because a lot of people went against John Bunyan, Mary's dad, like he knew that Mary was very dear to her dad, so he starts like being rude, like physically hurting her.
So, what do you like about the book?
It's just it shows not to be afraid, I'm guessing.
Okay. So to be brave.
And I think the main message is probably just the Bible verse.
Okay. Remember those scribe? Same Bible verse.
Oh.
I can do things through Christ. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yeah.
Oh, and I also forgot to say that Mary likes doing things by herself. She doesn't like the word help because she wants to do things by herself. I also forgot to say that Mary later in the story goes to her dad in jail and gives him soup, and she finds
that's nice.
and she finds that he made a lot of other friends in the prison and turned them into Christians.
Wow.
And so she just talks to him to like what happened and things like that. And then he would tell her like things to do because she normally tells him like what she's sad about and things like that. And there's like this one time where I remember where she gets physically hurt by Jeffrey again, like by tripping because of him.
Okay.
And another time she nearly passed out because she got knocked really hard by a branch that Jeffrey let go of, and then let it hit her.
That's nice. Not nice.
Yeah. I remember there was also another part where like when her brother goes out following the crazy bear, she meets a girl, a Rom girl. That's what they called her. And she goes really nice. She's really nice, and she looked after her when Jeffrey attacked.
Okay.
And yeah.
So I guess because the father was in prison, right? And he preached the gospel to his fellow inmates.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's awesome. Yeah. Wherever you are, at school, everywhere, whether you go into the holidays, I think it's good to share the gospel. Yeah. You're doing the right thing, right? I see that you are reading another book. What's that?
Empowered.
How God shaped 11 women's lives
Yeah.
and can shape yours too. Written by, who is the writer?
Catherine Parks.
Can you please share a bit about what you're reading?
So it's about how God shaped 11 women's lives, like how it says in the
Who are
book,
they?
like
Who are they?
Okay, so I'll just say in the contents page.
Sure.
Okay, so the first one is Esther Ann Kim. The next one is Sophie Scholl. The next one is Corrie ten Boom. And after Corrie ten Boom is her sister, Betsy ten Boom. And then after that, there's this lady called Pandita Ramabai. And then Elizabeth Elliot. And then Phyllis Whitley. And then Johnny... Okay, I don't know how to say that. Tada. And then Fanny Crosby. And then Charlotte Fortin Grimke. And then Annie Armstrong.
Okay. How far have you?
I sort of just started not that long ago.
Okay.
But
Can you tell me?
I actually already read it, but I really like reading books again and again.
Awesome.
So
Can you share me one of your favorite person? In
my
the book?
favorite one would probably be a star Kim.
Okay.
The first
Why?
one.
Why?
Because it shows like that she cares for other people even though she's going through a hard thing.
Okay. Like.
So what happens is she's a Korean girl who and Japan took over Korea and forced them to wait, let me just check.
Yeah.
So they forced the Koreans to adopt Japanese customs, including their Shinto religion, which involved worshipping nature spirits, ancestors, and the emperor. So her family was divided in two parts. Her mom was believing in Jesus, and her dad was doing what the Japanese people said to do.
Okay.
So one time her mom tells her that the idols and things like that have no authority or anything over them, so there's no point in worshipping them. So then later, there was they had to have, and then Japanese people forced people to have shrines everywhere, like schools, every single office, and even homes and even Christian churches.
Okay.
They just put it in there. And then one time they were told to go to this mountain, I think, and then they would have to worship the sun goddess, I think. So when it's time, Aesuk is the only one that stands up left, and she's immediately sent to the to jail, and then during the middle of the just wait.
So it's like the days of Daniel.
Yes, sort of like that.
Yeah.
It even says that she remembers Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when she had that in her mind.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah. Just when you're sharing, that's what comes to my mind as well.
so so the one that first she was sent to the district chief. In the middle of his crazy speech at her, the phone rings, so he goes to the office to pick it up, and then that's when she runs away back to her house. Then she knows that she can't stay there any longer, so she just goes out disguising herself as a country woman. And then I think she went on a train or something, and she said that faith should be like stars shining as the world gets darker. And
True. Very true. Yeah.
and then so after that, later, she met with a lot of other Christians, and there's this other guy whose name is Elder Park, I think, and he tells her that he needs her good Japanese because she was really good at Japanese. So Japanese people, so what Christians were trying to do was tell the Japanese people that to repent to God because they were doing all these bad things worshipping idols and things like that. So then him and her go to this assembly thing, and Elder Park drops a message down a balcony that says for the Japanese government to repent and things like that.
That's
and then
very
so they're
brave.
immediately arrested.
Yeah.
But they still
obvious,
meet with a lot of other Christians, and they continue telling about God.
Yeah, I think it's Christianity. I think it's important. It's one of the key messages is to be brave, and not to be like coward. Because if you're coward, then you can't do anything, right? But that braveness needs to come from God, right?
Like while she was in jail, there was this woman, this really dangerous woman, that would bite people and attack people like crazy. So she had to always have her hands tied behind her back. And then so Aesop asks them to put her in her cell. They thought she was crazy, but anyways, they just put her in, and then they were wrestling. But then the dangerous woman just falls asleep later. And then for 3 days straight. But then when she wakes up, like, Aesop just tells her about God. And then the dangerous prisoner all of a sudden got changed by Aesop.
You want to know what I'm reading at the moment?
Yes.
I'm reading Loving Parents Guide to Discipline. It's written by Marilyn Goodman. It's very good. I'll show you. Like, all people get angry at times, right?
Yeah.
Like anger, like happiness and sadness is a normal human emotion that we are entitled to feel and express. We are entitled to angry feelings, but not entitled to angry actions. You can
Also,
have
only feeling.
feelings. We can have feelings, but we can't do actions because, we are angry. That's one thing. And what I was reading about is about rules. So setting rules and limits. That's why we're practicing in the family. That's why I'm saying, hey, this is IT time, tech time, 9 to 10 to 11,
10 to 11.
and 3 to 4. That's limits, and we have rules. We have rules and limits so that we become successful in life. Because we can't do whatever we do. Like if you go back to school, can you do it? Whatever you do in your class? No. You have to obey your parents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. It has to be the same in the family as well. So everyone benefits from it, There's a lot of things here, which I will be sharing to our Zomi people, but in our language, not in English. Sorry, but yeah, thanks for joining me tonight and sharing me about what you are reading, Rara. I appreciate it so much, and it's an honor to have you here. I'm proud to have a daughter like you. You're so awesome, and hopefully we get to do more of this in the future as well, and talk about what books we read. And here Pakwal is said, what is saying? He said, who is that narrator? Pakwal is looking at you, and God bless you, Rara. And I love you.
Me too.
ตัวแต่งหินเจนะตัวกตันูอะไรมั่งสร้างบ่อยหินะมาเป็นตุกุม year 5ติงก็ได้ year 5ติงที่ตายนะเป่าต้องเสียมมาใหม่นะยังมาเป่าวุดพันเรานะว่ายังดีเสียมซอยนะเจนเป่าละมุงตาฝนนี่นะมาเป็นกายินควันทรงอะไรบุซิมหัดเป็นเรคคอร์ดที่นะตานลีที่นะเป็นเปอร์เซ็นต์ทุปาโต writing เป็น year 6 level เปลโตตายนะลายเกี่ยวกับมาเสียมมาshe writes poems about raindrops.
Yeah, that was only for a school thing.
Yeah, school thing, and I was reading it ก็ซิมเลยเป็นก็เลยใช้บางลายเกี่ยวกับเสียมมีโม่เจนะอาสังเสียนนุ่นบางเป็น Rachel you should become a writer จีว่าได้นะ
She says that she thinks I'll be a writer.
Yeah, she thinks that Rachel will be a writer มาเป็นลายเกี่ยวกับเรื่องนี้จีนะทุนจงลายเกี่ยวของลายสิมของมาได้ลุงล้นมานะปัสยานีนะทุพังเปียกสักมาบานลิมเจตาของในสักเดือนจง ทุกอย่างนางพอกพิอุนจีเตียงตุนยาก็ปาตาหุนกองจัดขอบเทียวตัวแต่งเงินเจลงดาเม